Morning. My name is Dr.A.Balu, Associate Professor in the Department of Commerce and Economics. Course name is Macroeconomics, course code U18Mcem602. My topic is Concepts in Macroeconomics. There are several basic concepts in macroeconomics as well as in microeconomics. Without studying these concepts, we would not be able to understand theories as well as models, both micro as well as macro models. First, basic model is production possibilities frontier. In this, there is a diagram. The diagram shows that is combination of two products that the economy can effectively produce by given resources. Resources are scarce. There is scarcity. Resources are scarce in an economy. Natural resources, any human resources, any resources you can take. Resources are scarce in an economy. So by given the resources, we have to produce one or two commodities. If you produce one commodity more, then the other commodity production would be low compared with the other. So this is called a constraint. In microeconomics, we have seen that individuals face some constraints. Like micro, here society is also facing some constraints. That is, we have limited resources. Society or the economy has limited resources. The natural resources like labor, capital, land, raw materials, and so on. At any given moment, society has limited resources. It follows that there is a limit to the quantities of goods and services it can produce. Now, we can see that there is shortage for oxygen cylinders. We have not heard this earlier. It is difficult to produce more. In other words, the products are limited because the resources are limited. So to produce more oxygen cylinders, we need some raw materials. Raw materials might be scarce. So it is somewhat difficult to produce more. Here we can see the diagram. In y-axis, good A is measured. In x-axis, something is measured. See here, two variables are measured. In y-axis, healthcare is measured. In x-axis, education variable is measured. Government has to spend some amount, or government has to allocate some resources for producing or providing services, healthcare services as well as education. If the healthcare government has to spend more for healthcare, then it has to spend less for education. But nowadays you can see that the government is spending for healthcare, not for education. The situation is like this. So government has to spend more by spending less in other. Here two combination of goods or services. So here we have healthcare as well as education. So there is budget constraint. If you produce more A, then automatically we have to produce less the other commodity. Differences between an individual's budget constraint and their production possibility frame. So as an individual, we have budget constraint. We earn monthly 10,000 rupees, for example. We have to spend at least 7,000 for necessary or basic needs. and we can't spend more for comfortable or luxuries. Given this income, we have to spend like this. Society also face some scarce. The general rule is when one is allocating only a single scarce resource, the trade-off will be constant. But when there is more than one scarce resources, the trade-off will be increasing costly. Production possibility frontier, diminishing returns. Law of diminishing returns here applies. As additional increments of resources are devoted to a certain purpose, the marginal benefit from those additional increments will decline. Now we can see that we are producing more oxygen cylinders. If we produce more oxygen cylinders, then the diminishing return occur. Will occur. The additional cost will increase. That is, marginal cost will increase. Increment will decline. Here we apply opportunity cost, law of diminishing returns, and the curved shape of the production possibility frontier example. If few resources are currently committed to education, then an increase in resources used can bring large gains. At any cost, we can't say that education is not important at this moment. So if we invest on education, then the benefit would be there in the future. It will bring large gains in the near future. If a large number of resources are already committed to education, committing additional resources will bring smaller gains. The curve of the production possibility frontier shows as additional resources are added to education, moving from left to right on the horizontal axis. The initial gains are large, but those gains gradually diminish. In the initial level, at any initial level, the additional gains would be large. If we increase beyond that level, the additional gain will gradually decline. Here we can see the figure. Efficiency refers to lack of waste. Productive efficiency and allocative efficiency. Efficiently, all resources should be allocated efficiently or produced effectively. Here, efficiency refers to lack of waste. Productive efficiency. Given the available inputs and technology, it is impossible to produce more of one good without decreasing the quantity of another good that is produced. Here we say that if we increase one product or increase input for one product, and we would not be able to allocate, or we would not be able to produce another good or more. By given the available inputs and technology, it is impossible to produce more of one good without. Then here in this thing, technology is absent. If we include technology in the production function, then the situation would be different. Without decreasing, we can increase the production of both the commodity. So technology is a variable we can't ignore in the production process. Usually we keep technology as constant. If we allow technology, then the production function will be increasing. Allocative efficiency. When the mix of goods being produced represents the mix that society most desires. Usually we produce mix of goods or combination of goods. Productive efficiency and allocative efficiency, society's choice. Why society must choose? Every economy faces two situations in which it may be able to expand the conception of all goods. Uh, the society or the individual firm always try to expand the consumption of all goods. That is, increase in consumption, increase in production of goods. So society usually want to increase the consumption. Here, a society may be using its resources ineffectively, in which case, by improving efficiency and producing on the production possibility frontier, it can have more of all goods. Here, this effective is a powerful word in economics. Before Keynes, we have seen demand. We have studied demand. We have seen the word demand. After Keynes used effective demand. So, effective is powerful word in economics. As resources grow over a period of years, more labor and more capital. That is, in any production function or production process or production unit, resources we invest more on labor as well as on capital. The economic grows. If we increase more capital, more labor, that is increase in investment leads to increase in income as well as economy. As it does, the production possibility frontier for a society will tend to shift outward, and society will be able to afford more of all goods. If we are not able to increase both capital and labor, then the economy will not increase, grow. Productive efficiency and allocative efficiency, comparative advantage. When a country can produce a good at a lower opportunity cost than another country, we say that this country has a comparative advantage in that good. We should take the current situation. In India, few states are producing oxygen cylinders. Few states, I think. Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Maharashtra are not producing. Maharashtra and some other states are not producing. It seems, I do not know, but it seems they face a shortage in oxygen cylinders. So we assume that these states are producing more and those states are not producing. In some states are not producing. Now, those countries are producing, they can produce effectively. These companies or these states can produce effectively than the non-oxygen, the other states, those who are not producing oxygen cylinders. Or they don't have that much infrastructure. So, in this situation, the states, those who are performing well, can produce, can invest. Other states can't. Other states should not invest. Other states may invest later, not in this, not during this situation. After some years, they can invest. They have to invest. So this is called a comparative advantage. The states, those who are doing better, can produce. The states are not able to produce. They may simply import. When countries engage in trade, they specialize in the production of the goods in which they have comparative advantage, and a trade part of the production of goods in which they don't have comparative advantage. Okay, the same interpretation. Comparative advantage again continuation. With the trade, goods are produced where the opportunity cost is lowest So total production increases, benefiting both trading partners. Now, Tamil Nadu, Kerala can export or they can send their oxygen cylinders to other neighboring states or export to neighboring countries. The other countries are not effective in producing oxygen cylinders. Should not try it at this moment. The slope of the production possibility frontier gives the opportunity cost of producing an additional unit of wheat. While slope is not constant through the production possibility frontier. The diagram explains the effective, the allocative, the comparative advantage of producing good. Rationality and self-interest. Assumption of rationality. In economics, there is a assumption called rational behavior. Rational behavior means a person behaves normal human being. If price increases, he will buy more. He buys more. It means that he is in the rational behavior. So, the rational behavior, there is a theory of rational behavior. It is the assumption that people will make choices in their own self-interest. Here, assumption of rationality in the theory of rational behavior, people will make choices in their own self-interest. They have alternatives. Among those alternatives, they will make choices on their own. See, students have many courses or many programs. They can choose their own program, BA Economics or BA English or BA Tamil. Any group or any discipline or any stream they want, they can choose. The assumption of rationality, also called the theory of rational behavior, is primarily a simplification that economists make in order to create a useful model of human decision making. The assumption that individuals are purely self-interested does not imply that individuals are greedy and selfish. People clearly derive satisfaction from helping others. So self-interest can also include pursuing things that benefit other people. Rationality in action. Rationality suggests that consumers will act to maximize self-interest and that businesses will act to maximize profits. So rationality suggests that consumer will act to maximize self-interest. So I want to increase my satisfaction. I want to increase my self-interest or maximize. I want, since I'm a businessman, I want to maximize my profits. I am a consumer. I want to maximize my satisfaction. The consumer is thinking about buying a product. What does he or she want? The theory of rational behavior would say that the consumer wants to maximize benefit and minimize cost. Say, I want to purchase a fruit, any fruit, seasonal fruit, mango. By buying mango, I want to maximum benefit. I want to maximize benefit, and the cost would be me. I do not want to spend more or much on those commodities. As the cost of the production increases, it becomes less likely that the consumer will decide that the benefits of the purchase outweigh the cost. Rationality in action. Rationality and the students. We have given several examples. Rationality and business. Even business people also want to maximize profit. Here, students decide on a major. Students want to join in any program, degree programs. They see the university's reputation or college's reputation. in that college, the program's reputation in that college. Some colleges are good in engineering. Some colleges are good to study paramedical, like that. In economics, the, the major important or main important analysis is marginal analysis. In any economics, we study marginal concepts. Marginal concepts. Examination of decisions on margin means comparing cost of a little. Okay. Economic rationality, marginal benefit. Economic rationality revisited. How then do you decide on a choice? The answer is that you compare to the best of your ability the marginal benefits with the marginal cost. Marginal benefits with the marginal cost. If the price of the good increases, and we have to get the maximum or marginal benefit by increasing. For example, 10 rupees to 12 rupees. Again, we expect the benefit. Positive statement, positive and normative statements are there in economics. In social sciences, we use normative statements. What ought to be? If the poor people or may get benefits from the government, welfare benefits from the government without paying anything. If a rich pays more, the government can spend more on poor people. So this is somewhat normative statements. Positive is logic and that can be tested. Here, those statements cannot be tested. If you read well, then you will lead happy life in the future. So we can't say that there is a direct relationship between education as well as happiness or earning more money. In positive statement, we should test. Unemployment is caused by a decrease in GDP. Yes, we can test. Empirically analyzing the data on unemployment and GDP. In statement of facts such as it is raining or Microsoft is the largest producer of computer operating systems in the world. Normative statement involves value judgments of the speaker. We ought to do more to help the poor. So I want to help others. After earning, I will help poor people. I don't know when will be I earning more. 30,000 is more, or 50,000 is more, or 1 lakh rupees is more. We do not know. Then the statement like corporate profits are too high. We do not know. Without knowing, simply we say it is. This is difference. It is uncommon. It is not uncommon for people to present an argument as positive to make it more convincing to the audience. When in fact it has normative statement elements. So here we can see some statements or positive, some statements or normative. Price ceilings, a legal maximum price for a product. We know that maximum retail price. There are 5 major consequences of price ceiling: shortages, reduced quality, wasted time and resources, dead weight loss, or a loss of gains from trade, misallocation of resources. Price floors, again, a legal minimum price for a product. Price control in government laws to regulate prices. Nowadays, I can see that government should, anybody should not sell this good for more than that this rupee. For example, vaccination for rupees 250. Each and everybody should sell it for 250 rupees. Thank you.